Hi, Jeff Tucholsky back again with another download from our equipping sessions. We actually just finished our last session and wanted to just give you a brief overview of what we talked about and maybe some things of where we're going to be heading in the future. So today we spent part of our time talking about ways to improve our hospitality. And we broke it down between hospitality with our own church members, hospitality with friends and acquaintances and our neighbors, and then hospitality with visitors who actually come to the church. So we had a really good discussion on that. Got to generate a lot of ideas. By the way, we won't be up there forever, but if you walk through the fellowship hall again, you will see we have just about papered all the walls with the work that we've done. And I have a great deal of thanks to all the people who have come to help us go through these sessions. So after our hospitality discussion, then we moved to discipleship, which is an area where I personally still need a lot of work in terms of becoming a better Christian, becoming more like Jesus. So we talked about areas that the church could improve our discipleship, things like new member orientation or member instruction on the Church of the Brethren or on being a Christian or improving our Christian walk. Then we also talked a little bit about where each of us need individually to work on our own discipleship. And for me, it was knowing more about the Church of the Brethren, because I've had some questions about that recently that I really couldn't answer in a way I would have liked to, or maybe ways to improve our prayer life. Those were the things we talked about with discipleship. We had, again, a great discussion around that. And then we moved on to remaining obstacles and what else. Basically, covered most of the obstacles that were brought up early in the session. If you see the obstacle list, you'll see some of those things that we talked about, like being a small church or not being prepared and those kinds of things. And we focused a lot today about what do we talk about because we don't have a pastor right now, or we don't have a lot of kids. We talk about ways to get around that. And the bottom line is we have to be prepared for if we do get kids, and we need to talk to people who maybe are in our similar age groups to kind of help us invite more people and grow the church. And we talk about not having a pastor. Well, we had times in the past where we haven't had pastors, and we survive that and we go through it. We talk about what's coming, and we talk about the fact that we keep going, and the church is the people of this building who come to this church, or the church is all the people, the whole body of Christ. So we have a lot to offer, and we talked a bit more about how we could position ourselves within the community to tell them what was great about Shepherd's Heart. So then as we were closing toward the end of the session, we asked if there are any lingering questions. We talked about what we are going to do to help kind of keep the momentum going, keep the energy going from this. We have a lot of resources that are now out in the fellowship hall, and we will be moving those to other parts of the building for people to access. Whether you came to the session or not, these materials are there for you to use, to hand out to people, or books to read to improve your own discipleship, your own witnessing, or whatever the case might be. And then throughout the rest of this year, as my position as leadership chair, I'm going to work to provide ideas and reminders and other resources that are going to help continue to encourage us to move along this path. And then at the end of the session, we didn't do an evaluation of the program in terms of the content. What I passed out was something that asked, how did we all do? Because I was in it with everybody else. And the real question is not how did I do as a presenter, as much as how did we each do in terms of dealing and answering the questions and the topics that were covered. At the end, I handed out this final handout that summarized all the things that we worked to accomplish in this session. And at the end, I ended up with this phrase, which I used at the beginning, which is, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Which is essentially, it's up to us if we're going to continue to grow the kingdom and if we're going to continue to grow Shepherd's Heart. So make-up sessions and or overviews and reviews, we really haven't established anything yet. If there's sufficient interest, if I get people coming up and saying they'd like to get the materials, you certainly can get the materials that are there if you haven't been able to attend. And I'll be willing to talk with people on an individual basis about what's in there and what we did. And if there's enough interest, then potentially we could do a one-time review session. But still more to come on that. So that's it for today. Thanks again, and God bless.